Brought to you by Penguin.
House of Names by Colm Tóibín. Read by Charlie Anson, Pippa Nixon, and Juliet Stevenson.
Clytemnestra. I have been acquainted with the smell of death. The sickly, sugary smell that wafted in the wind towards the rooms in this palace. It is easy now for me to feel peaceful and content. I spend my morning looking at the sky and the changing light. The bird-song begins to rise as the world fills with its own pleasures, and then, as day wanes, the sound too wanes and fades. I watch as the shadows lengthen. So much has slipped away, but the smell of death lingers. Maybe the smell has entered my body and been welcomed there like an old friend come to visit. The smell of fear and panic. The smell is here like the very air is here. It returns in the same way as light in the morning returns. It is my constant companion. It has put life into my eyes. Eyes that grew dull with waiting, but are not dull now. Eyes that are alive now, with brightness. I gave orders that the bodies should remain in the open under the sun a day or two, until the sweetness gave way to stench. And I liked the flies that came, their little bodies perplexed and brave, buzzing after their feast, upset by the continuing hunger they felt in themselves. A hunger I had come to know too, and had come to appreciate. We are all hungry now. Food merely whets our appetite. It sharpens our teeth. Meat makes us ravenous for more meat, as death is ravenous for more death. Murder makes us ravenous, fills the soul with satisfaction that is fierce, and then luscious enough to create a taste for further satisfaction. A knife piercing the soft flesh under the ear, with intimacy and precision, and then moving across the throat as soundlessly as the sun moves across the sky, but with greater speed and zeal. And then his dark blood flowing with the same inevitable hush as dark night falls on familiar things. They cut her hair before they dragged her to the place of sacrifice. My daughter had her hands tied tight behind her back, the skin on the wrists raw with the ropes, and her ankles bound. Her mouth was gagged to stop her cursing her father, her cowardly, two-tongued father. Nonetheless, her muffled screams were heard when she finally realized that her father really did mean to murder her, that he did mean to sacrifice her life for his army. They had cropped her hair with haste and carelessness. One of the women managed to cut into the skin around my daughter's skull with a rusty blade. And when Iphigenia began her curse, that is when they tied an old cloth around her mouth, so that her words could not be heard. I am proud that she never ceased to struggle, that never once, not for 1 second, despite the ingratiating speech she had made, did she accept her fate. She did not give up trying to loosen the twine around her ankles or the ropes around her wrists so that she could get away from them, or stop trying to curse her father so that he would feel the weight of her contempt. No one is willing now to repeat the words she spoke in the moments before they muffled her voice, but I know what those words were. I taught them to her. They were words I made up to shrivel her father and his followers with their foolish aims. They were words that announced what would happen to him and those around him once the news spread of how they dragged our daughter, the proud and beautiful Iphigenia, to that place, how they pulled her through the dust to sacrifice her so they might prevail in their war. In that last second, as she lived, I am told she screamed aloud so that her voice pierced the hearts of those who heard her.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?